So previously we have talked about this counting sort algorithm, the step-by-step process of this algorithm. So now we're gonna see the working of this counting sort function. So the function takes the array, so we're gonna pass this unsorted array and then the size of the array. So inside the function, first of all we are finding the maximum from this array. So to find the max element, we are running one for loop. So the for loop will run from this second element. So that means it will run from this index 1 till the end of the array, and we're gonna compare with the elements to find the maximum from this array. Now once we found the maximum, after that we have to create one count array which will have the frequency of all the elements in our original array. So that means we're gonna create this count array, and the size of the count array will be max plus 1. So here the max value is 5, so the size of the count array will be 6. Now after creating this count array, we have to initialize that array with zeros. So we're gonna use this loop and we're gonna initialize all the index with the value 0. Now after that we're gonna run another for loop to find the frequency of each element. So the for loop will run from 0 till the end of the array. So the loop will run from this first position and it will continue till the end of the array. So first of all we have 1, that means we're gonna increase the value of the index 1. So this will be incremented by 1. So this way next we have 3, that means the index 3 value will be incremented by 1. Similarly we are going to repeat this process for all the elements. So after the end of this loop, you can see we have the count array which contains frequency of each element. Now we have to find the cumulative count of all the elements. So we have to find the cumulative count. So we have to modify the count array. So that means we're gonna run one loop from the second index position, and in each iteration we're gonna add the count with the previous count value. So we're gonna run this loop from the second index position and we're gonna add this with the previous count. So 2 plus 0, so this will be 2. Next we have the count 1 will be added with the previous count, so 2 plus 1, so this will be modified to 3. Next we have the count 2, 3 plus 2, so this will be 5. Next we have 0, so 0 plus 5, so this will be 5. And next we have 2, so 5 plus 2, so the modified count will be 7. So this is the way we can create this cumulative count array. So after that we need to create this output array which will have the sorted output. So to find the output we're going to run this for loop. So the for loop will run from the last position of this original array and it will continue towards the beginning of the array. So our loop will run from the end of this array and we're gonna continue towards the beginning of the array. And in each iteration we're trying to figure out where these values should be put into our output array, and we're gonna decide that based on this cumulative count array. So let's just see how to do that. So here we're gonna look into the index array of the count array. So because here we have 5, that means we're gonna look into the index 5 of this count array, and whatever the value we have in this count array we're gonna reduce 1. So because here we have 7, so this will be reduced by 1, so the new value will be 6. So that means 6 will be the index where we have to put our value in the output array. So that means this is the 6th index, so the value 5 will be inserted right here in the 6th index. 5 will be inserted right here, and after that we have to reduce the cumulative count value by 1, which we have already done. This was 7, we have reduced this, and the new value is 6. Next we have the value 1, so that means you have to look into the index 1 of the cumulative count array. So here the value is 2, so the first step is to reduce that. So that 2 will be reduced by 1, so the new value will be 1. That means this value 1 will be inserted at the index 1 of this output array, and this process will continue, and we're gonna repeat this process. We're gonna select one item, then we're gonna look into the index. We're gonna reduce that value to decide where this value will be inserted into our output array. So because the value is 4, that means the 3 will be inserted right here. So next we have 2, that means we have to look into the index 2. We have to reduce the value. So because the count is 2, that means the value 2 will be inserted at the index 2 of this output array. Next we have 5, that means you have to look into the index 5, and then we have to reduce that by 1. So this count 5 means the 5 will be inserted at the index 5 of this output array. And next we have the value 3, that means you have to look into the index 3. We have to reduce the count. So the count 3 means the value 3 will be inserted at the index 3 of this output array. And lastly we have the value 1, that means we have to look into the index 1. We have to reduce the count by 1. So because the count is 0, that means the value 1 will be inserted at the index 0 of the output array. So this way the loop will continue to decide where to put that element in our output array. So you can see after the end of this loop, we have this sorted output. And lastly, we can copy our output array back into our original array. And this is the way the countingSort code is working. So here is our countingSort function. Now inside the main method, first of all we have to create one array, and the array will contain all of these values. So these array elements are now unsorted. To sort them we can call the countingSort function, and we're gonna pass this array, and we have to pass the size of the array, and then we can run one loop to print the elements of the sorted array. So here you can see we have the sorted output. So hope you understand about the working of the countingSort. So see you in the next one. Take care.